Martin guitars versus Taylor guitars, always a fun topic of interest on the internet. Today we're going to be comparing the new Martin GPC-13e with Ziricote back and sides with the venerable and one of the best-selling models in the price range, the Taylor 214ce Deluxe. Stick around, let's get into it. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and like our videos. If you'd like to support the channel, visit our spring store link below for our custom-designed t-shirts and other cool swag. So, speaking of swag, two of the big juggernauts in the guitar world is Taylor Guitars and Martin Guitars, the two companies that everybody loves to compare and beat each other up on the internet for. And seriously, guys, can you stop already? Like, they're both great guitar companies. I like them both. People can be fans of both. They get along great. Like, yeah, enough. But let's get into it anyway, because it's fun to compare. So today we're going to be looking at this. This is the GPC-13e. It is a new variation of the model from Martin that debuted or was featured at Summer NAMM. And frankly, we've just finally got some in, such as COVID, pandemic, weird NAMM shows, and product rollouts and introductions. But nevertheless, we have it here. And the big change from the previous GPC-13e is it now features back and sides of Ziricote. At least that's how I say it because I think it sounds awesome. Ziricote. Anyways, it is a South American wood. It is of the kind of rosewood family, if you will. And I love the look of the grain on this. It has a very awesome kind of 3D effect, spider webbing. A lot of it looks like really great Brazilian rosewood. Back and sides on this are not solid. They are using fine veneer, is the way Martin is saying it, which means it stacks up really nicely in comparison with a Taylor 214ce Deluxe, which also has layered back and sides of East Indian Rosewood. What that means is that we're really going to be hearing most of what's happening on the top of these guitars. So let's get into the specs between the two of them. And I do have, just so that you can see, a beautiful Taylor 214ce Deluxe right here. Both of these currently retail at the same price, which is $13.99. This is where I insert that you should check our website, alamomusic.com, for the latest price updates because they are subject to change without notice, particularly in 2021. So you can see the difference in the grain of the back. Ziricote has some beautiful grain structure. Now East Indian Rosewood also looks really nice. It's maybe a little bit more mundane compared to Ziricote or however you want to say it. But either way, it's veneers, layered. Neither of these have like HPL, which is high pressure laminate formica stuff that you might see on some other guitars. So let's talk about the GPC-13e first. Now, both of these guitars, you probably noticed, look pretty similar shape-wise. That's because this Grand Performance model is really kind of Martin's answer to the Grand Auditorium that Taylor has been producing since, I think, 1995. And it is a great model. In fact, so many companies are coming out with like these small jumbo or Grand Auditorium-sized guitars because what it does is it takes the width and depth of a dreadnought, tightens the waist, and basically gives you a guitar that can do a lot of things really well. You can finger pick it, you can strum it. It handles a lot of things with aplomb. It sits lower on your lap than a dreadnought does, so it feels like a smaller guitar. The top's a little bit more resonant than a dreadnought, and if you don't really need all of that sound, it's comfortable, it looks really sexy. It's just a nice body shape. Now, this body shape, if I remember the specs correctly on the dimensions, it's very, very close to a Taylor Grand Auditorium size-wise, but maybe a skosh smaller. But I mean a skosh. However much a skosh is, that's how much smaller it is. But everything else is very, very similar. So we've got the same scale length here. It's 25.5 inch scale length. Now this is a 1 3/4 inch nut width, which I say yay to, because I like 1 3/4 inch nut width. The Taylors, if you get anything under a 300 series or GT, the GT is different, so that's probably a bad example, or under the American Dream series, it's all 1 11/16. Anything that's coming out of the Mexico factory for Taylor is fantastic. It's just 1 11/16. For most people, it's fine. For me, it's a little narrow, but I could play it. I own a GS Mini. Everything's good. But this does have a wider nut, so make note of that. This has a select hardwood neck on the Taylor. It's Sapele. but again, very similar. This might be Sapele, and Martin's just not saying so. Very similar tuners, branded tuners, probably Ping or something on there. And you've got just very, very similar dimensions. Now, the pickup system in this is a Fishman MXT system. It's got a tuner right here in the sound hole, which is nice. You can click it, you can look down, it's muted your system. You can see the tuning through the sound hole, and you can tune on the fly. Taylor does not put an onboard tuner on this ES2 equipped 214ce Deluxe, and that's fine as well. I kind of go back and forth on the implementation of onboard tuners. This is probably one of the better executions of that idea. So layered back and sides on both of these, scalloped X bracing on both of these, solid Sitka spruce tops on both of these. And again, the price is about the same. So what's different? Actually not much. I'll tell you where there's a value proposition difference. The 214ce Deluxe comes with a hard shell case. The Martin GPC-13e does not. It comes with a gig bag. And as far as gig bags go, it's fine. But I can tell you at this price point, Taylor offers some guitars for just a little bit more money that has like the Aero case. And the Aero case is better. It's a lot more substantial than Martin's gig bag. So if you are going to be concerned, or like if you really are rough with your stuff and you buy this guitar, you'll want to probably upgrade the gig bag to a hard shell case or a more substantial, maybe more rigid gig bag. So, you know, otherwise it's more than substantial enough and should serve you pretty well. So the big difference is going to be in the sound and the feel of these guitars. Like I said, this one has a wider nut width. It has fantastic action. So that's one of the things that usually Taylor had the leg up on, but I'm going to tell you this plays really, really well. It feels nice. It has a nice sound to it. They're both made in Mexico, and they come with a case or gig bag for about the same money. So the big difference is going to be in the sound. To demonstrate this, I take both of these guitars and I'm going to put them through their paces playing the exact same thing. So turn your ears on and listen closely and see if you can tell the difference between the two. Check it out. So there you have it. That is the Martin GPC-13e with Ziricote back and sides. It was featured at the Summer NAMM show this year, compared to the Taylor 214ce Deluxe with spruce and layered rosewood back and sides, which has been a top seller for years in this price range. Both are $13.99. They're both great values if you're wanting a solid top acoustic electric guitar that plays great from one of these top manufacturers. So, what's the difference in the sound? I'm actually a little surprised by the sound of the Martin. To my ears, and I don't know if you picked up on this in our recording, this actually sounds in some ways brighter than the Taylor. And it might have something to do with the setup on it. I think maybe the action's slightly too low from the factory, but it has a really bright tone to it. What you typically hear on a guitar that has solid top with layered back and sides is you're hearing more of the top in the strings. You're not really getting body resonance. Typically, the guitars have less kind of depth, if you will, to the tone because the back and sides aren't really resonating. And that's kind of what I hear with both of these guitars, but definitely with this guitar. It's a lot of top, it's a lot of the strings that you're hearing, but it's not a bad sound, and the feel of it is fantastic. Did I mention that this has a really good setup on it? Maybe too good of a setup on it. It sounds really, really good. But the Taylor actually did have a little bit more low end, at least as I'm playing it. And I'm curious if you picked up on that on the recording. Now that's interesting because most people tend to think Martin has more low end to it. Now I said these are similar bodies. Maybe it's because they're similar, but the Taylor's technically a little larger. It's a little deeper. Maybe that's part of what we're hearing and stuff going on with the bracing and the finish and whatnot. But all in all, I really like this guitar, and I like what Martin's doing with like the Road Series stuff with their 10s, 11s, 12s, 13 models. I'm a big fan of the SC13E, and I think this is really fantastic. Feeling guitar, I like the wider nut width, and I think it sounds pretty good. But at the end of the day, I think it comes down to what sound you like, the feel you like, the aesthetics you like, and which side of the Martin Taylor fanboy fence you sit on. So anyways, great comparison and both fantastic guitars for the price. If you are looking for a guitar in this price point, maybe these and others, because there's lots of others available, and you're trying to sort through kind of the chaos to figure out what works best, we can help you do that. Go to alamomusic.com, you can chat live with someone, you can check out our inventory, and we can kind of help you understand the differences between the specs that are available and what might work best for your application. I've got some questions recently like, Chris, what do you think about these 3 or 4 substantially different guitars? Which one should I buy? My answer is always going to be, it depends upon you, because with guitars being really substantially different, or even when they're similar like this, use case, application, and preference really comes into play. But we can help you figure all of that out. So alamomusic.com, check us out there. At the end of the day, the best guitar in the world is the one that you're playing. Either one of these, I'd be happy with. How about you? Let us know in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos, and check out our description link to go over to Patreon and find out how to become an Alamo Music Insider. As always, thanks for watching. I'm Chris. I'll see you next time.